I'm Bruce Lorincz, and this show is called Bruce on the Loose. I talk to a lot of people in the Medina County area, and Wadsworth in particular, in the school system and government. Today we're very happy to have Kathy Barton with us.
Karen Barton.
I'm sorry?
Karen,
I'm sorry.
That's
Karen,
okay.
I had the K right.
That's it. I've been called worse.
Okay, and she is with Fair Districts, and it is a group that has been around for a little while and is trying to go ahead and develop a system whereby elections are, as they say, much fairer and competitive. Mm-hmm. Thank you very much for joining us today. And what motivated you to get started with this group?
I had the good fortune of being able to hear them present. And the leadership is developed out of League of Women Voters, Common Cause Ohio. There's a coalition of many people and many groups involved in fair districts, and they had a very compelling message about the value of each vote to make sure that we have fair districts, because the redistricting process is what lays the bedrock for our government going forward in the state.
What have you learned in the time you've been involved in this? And I know you've been out to talk to various groups around the county and elsewhere. What have you gleaned from that experience?
Well, the first and foremost thing that I've learned is that if you don't have fair government, you won't have a fair district. And if you don't have a fair district, you're muting the voices of some of the people. And that's not germane to a democracy. You have to have fairness. So that's the challenging thing I learned. The 2011 gerrymandering that we had in those maps, and I know we're going to talk about it more later, really do impact the voice of the voters. And we don't want to mute the voice of the voters. And then I felt really heartened. This was not something I was aware of, but 70% of Ohioans voted for fair districts in 2 different elections. And that really makes me feel great about the people of Ohio. It was through all 88 counties. It speaks to how decent and honest they are, I think.
Do all 50 states, are they contemplating and involved in redistricting their particular states as well as Ohio?
Yes. Per our Constitution, we redistrict every 10 years after the census. And it's all relative to the whole notion of population equality. But yes, around the country, this is the same kind of situation is unfolding.
So I guess the answer to my next question is, what triggers this process? And I guess it is the census, right?
It is, and it's all constitutionally directed. So every 10 years a census is required, and after the census is done, there are 2 processes that take place. One of them is called reapportionment, and the other is called redistricting. And reapportionment deals with the U.S. Congress. So we have 435 seats in the Congress. According to our Constitution, each state is allotted 1 representative in their state, and then the remaining are apportioned or reapportioned based on the population of the states, and that's why it's interconnected with the census, so that they can be fairly divvied up.
Who is charged? Is there a commission or a group of citizens that, or politicians that go ahead and develop this plan and strategy?
Are you talking about I'm not sure which plan or strategy you're
Well,
referencing.
once we determine, once the census says that there's so many people in Ohio, who is charged with developing
In
that?
the state of Ohio, we have our legislators actually do the drawing of the redistricting. And redistricting is really about making sure we have population equality. They look at how many people we have where, and then divisions are drawn. They have not always been drawn fairly. We're working really hard to make sure they are this time.
Historically, have we had this concern where various political parties would go ahead and take advantage of their particular states?
Since the beginning of the Republic, it goes way back. It's the first and probably most notable gerrymandering was the first one, which was done in Massachusetts. The governor there was Governor, his name was pronounced Gary, but it's been the pronunciation has changed over the years. And he had a candidate he wanted to win, and so he drew the district to create that probability that his candidate would win, and it did. And there was a cartoonist that worked for I think it was the Boston Gazette, and he is the one who first drew the gerrymander that's so famous now.
Yeah, I think we have a video of that on our screen that our audience can take a look at that. And Karen, it really seems to me, if it's intentionally drawn to go ahead and help a particular politician, what politician is going to be able to overcome that and win, even if you're very good, even if you're seasoned? That would be quite a disadvantage, I would think.
Well, you mean for whoever is running opposed to that
Yes.
person? Absolutely,
Oh, yes.
They're very disadvantaged. It's deliberately done so that you can secure the position for the politician that you want in office.
Did this approach then, was it again done by other states as well? Once they realized what Massachusetts and the governor had done, did other states also adopt this approach?
Yeah, gerrymandering's gone on, in various states around the union. I can't give you specifics on all the different places, but yes, it is commonplace.
Okay, about Ohio. Can we take a look at that next slide, Joanna? Ohio is also very guilty of this practice and has been that way for some time. Can you, Karen, give us some light on this particular slide?
Well, this is speaking to two very gerrymandered districts. The one along the Lake Erie shoreline, that's Marcy Kapter's district, and there was gerrymandering done to sort of split up two Democrats that had strength in that part of the state, and so that was the genesis of the snake on the lake, as some have referenced it. And then the Duck district is Jim Jordan's district, and it has, I think, pieces of 14 or 16 counties in it, and it goes almost all the way to Indiana. To me, it would just be so challenging as a legislator to serve that diverse and scattered number of people. It would just be a tremendously difficult challenge, I think.
Now, in the past, were districts drawn, and were cities and maybe counties taken into consideration? It seems like that is really so cut up that it may be dividing cities and counties in ways that just really does not make any sense at all. And we wonder why people don't vote. And I think that may be part of the reason that they don't understand where they've been, and they used to be in a different district and it was changed, and they just get very frustrated. Do you agree?
You have excellent observations, Bruce. Those are all accurate. One of the great challenges of gerrymandering is that it disconnects voters from the system. They lose confidence. Their legislators are choosing them. They are not choosing their legislators. And that's not the way democracy is supposed to work.
The governor has gotten involved, I saw lately, in developing approach to this, and he's running out of time. I think isn't there a deadline in early September where the districts are allegedly to be drawn?
Yes, they are. We do have prescriptive dates in the state for when each thing is supposed to happen. The actual legislators draw the maps. We do have a commission in our state, and it's a seven-member commission, and it includes both parties. There are 5 Republicans and 2 Democrats that serve on it. The chairs are Bob Cupp and Vernon Sykes, and the other members of the committee are our governor, our secretary of, I'm blanking on his name right now. Let me flip to my notes.
So that's fine.
Thank you. Bob Cupp and Vernon Sykes are our 2 chairs. Governor Mike DeWine, Auditor Keith Farber, sorry Keith, I forgot your name, Secretary of State Frank LaRose, and Senate President Matt Huffman, and Minority Leader Amelia Sykes. So the 2 Sykeses from our area are on, and we're grateful for their voices as well as the voices of all the Republicans. Now that group will validate, if you will, and review the map drawing of our legislators. So there are many people involved in this process that are in our government, and we're all hoping that we're going to experience fairly drawn districts with them working together, and with the public being very engaged this time in redistricting. So we're hoping for the best.
Now, the two entities we're really concerned about are the state legislatures, where you say there were 33 senators, 99 House members, and also the congressmen, our U.S. Representatives to Congress. And I think Ohio, if I heard correctly, has lost a seat.
Yeah, with census data, Ohio did not lose population, but we grew very, very minimally. And the rest of the nation grew more. So we are losing one district, and that will probably be our 16th district that will go.
Okay, and we have talked that Ohioans have had a voice on issues a couple different times. And could you go over that again, why Ohioans voted the way they did? What do you think was behind their vote?
I think their integrity. I feel very strongly that Ohioans twice in 2015 and 2018, and again, these were about having fair districts at the state and at the federal level. We voted for it. At 70% of the voters voted for it, and that was in all 88 counties. That speaks volumes about the integrity of Ohioans, I think.
Yeah, I think the census indicated Ohio did, as you point out, grow a
2.9,
really rare 2 point. Yeah, I heard 2.2 on NPR, but I'm not going to quibble about something. But under 3%. Yeah, 2-ish, under 3%, and that is just kind of staying the same. But a lot of people are, again, leaving Ohio, and we're just not as prevalent as some of the western states are growing. Colorado, I know, is growing by leaps and bounds. And what does that mean then? If we lose a seat, do we have the impact on national elections as Ohio used to have?
I can't say that I know definitively what that means. What it signals are the very things that you just mentioned, that people are drifting from our state. We don't have the population that we did. I'd like to think that it isn't so much a negative sign, but that people move for various reasons. And so that's also a signal, I think, to our legislators on what they may want to try to do to make it a more desirable place for people to live.
Is maybe another reason why people don't get really excited about districts. It happens infrequently. Every 10 years, we do go ahead and have the census, and there was certainly a lot of political backlash with that, and are we going to count every citizen? And there was a lot of political arguments here and there on the federal level about that, and they closed the account even before it was supposed to be ending, so that really didn't help. But maybe people just say, well, every 10 years they'll work it out, but it just so much in the future. I
think you raise really good points. And another thing I think that happens with people is lives are busy. And I don't know about you, but I did not learn about this in high school when I was a student. And I think this is something that's really important for young people to come up knowing, because these redistrictings that take place are very important. People are drawing lines that have the potential to divide a community. It has the potential to integrate or separate people of different color and ethnicity. We have to be ever vigilant, because how lines are drawn affects the very place we live and work and who we interact with, and how fair we are in terms of what resources go to those areas. And that's the other thing that I don't think we're that aware of. It's kind of the blessing of all of the focus on fair districts this year is that it's educating all of us. And I will say, I've learned things that I never knew, and I'm not proud of that, but I do think it gives all of us an opportunity to be engaged, to care about what happens in your community.
I think you make a
Can I get an amen?
excellent point. Yes, please. The schools, really have mandates to go ahead and go ahead and do the test and develop the test from the state. And many times, local and state government kind of gets sidetracked along the way. And I think that's, you make a key point that, this is something that we're living with. It really touches us very directly with the resources that we could be receiving from Washington, or in another case the state of Ohio. And it's something that the young people at 18, November 2nd, we have a lot of young people in our area, in Medina and Brunswick and elsewhere, that are able to vote.
Excellent point. And we need all those voters. we need people engaged that care about their community and want to build a better environment, work opportunity, safety, inclusion. I mean, we just have so many opportunities relative to drawing district lines.
Well, I gave the flyer that I was at your meeting here at the Suprema Senior Center, and I gave it to Dr. Hill, our superintendent here in Wadsworth, and also Vincent Suber, the new high school principal, and they said they would take those and spread the word.
Thank you.
So that's very, very significant. We need the principals throughout the county and beyond to be on the same page, don't we?
I agree. I think it's really, and the other thing is because those people are in positions of power, and they're respected. And so their opinions sometimes counts a little more than someone else's. And I think, it was wise of you to share that with leaders so that, more of it can be dispersed. Thank you.
I think we have a video clip about what we can do. It just talks about gerrymandering and how we need to go ahead and eliminate it. And it is something that will take some time and effort. And will we go ahead and draw those districts for a period of 10 years?
That's my fervent prayer.
Right.
The new rules that have been shared also have an option for a 4-year map, and that would happen if we can't get consensus. So my encouragement to others is write your legislators and let them know that you want them to work collaboratively so that they can accomplish a 10-year map for us, because that would give us the best opportunity to have solid planning and moving forward in collaboration, both parties together working for the good of the state of Ohio. With a 4-year map, you're looking at more contention and going back. At least this is opinion here, but I do think it's true. So it's really important for people to let their legislators, all of their government officials know their preference, what kind of map they want. The other thing to be aware of is there are public meetings, and there are citizens already that are involved in actually map making and submitting maps into the government so that they can use those resources. Nobody knows their hometown. Nobody outside of their hometown is going to know their hometown like the person that lives there. Like Wadsworthians are going to know what boundaries should be maintained for the integrity of their community. And that's why we need more people engaged, because they are the people who are in the know.
And some of those people being engaged are senior citizens as well. Mm-hmm. We know that they
are.
We know that they are very very consistent voters. They voted for years, and they certainly want their 2 cents worth said. And again, that's how I first, found out about the Fair District, situation. And you and your colleague, and I forget her name.
Marilyn Stano.
Okay, yeah, did a wonderful job.
Yes.
With videos and other points you made, and there was a fair number of people in the room, and hopefully they'll spread the news to other people. But senior citizens can really be a key, can't they?
Yeah, yes, and everybody can be a key. I think of all of us together as a choir, and we're all singing different parts maybe, and some sing low and some sing higher, but we all need to sing out that our democracy is precious to us. We want our communities intact. We want to make sure we have the same resources that other communities have. We want things fair. And I think that's a wonderful message in anything you're doing in life. Let's keep it fair.
And I think we have another clip here in regards to some meetings and some hearings that are happening throughout the state. I know a lot of people fear going in front of people and speaking.
Oh, sure.
And it's something that not everyone is really feeling good about doing
and that's
that.
understandable.
What would you recommend for people, and what are these opportunities that we have in our particular region?
These are public hearings, and there are two. One is in Cleveland on, I think it's the 23rd, and I was frantically looking through my notes to be able to pull it up, but it is listed.
Right.
Two that are near us, one is at the University of Akron, and one is in Cleveland at Cleveland State, and those are accessible. And the public hearings are going to be very informative, and there are also opportunities for people to speak. So my recommendation is to have people go to the Fair District's website, which was actually, I think, put up just a few minutes ago. Thank you very much. And there are just a plethora of resources available on the website, and as well as information on meeting dates and times, and ways that you can become involved. We really need everyone, all hands on deck.
What if traveling might be difficult for some people, homebound or in a wheelchair? Are there letters or postcards that we can delve into?
Yeah, there are. And again, on the Fair District's website, you can reach out to them and actually have postcards sent to you. But the names of all of the people that are on the commission, and then your local representatives and senators, write directly to them, telephone them, email them, communicate. Raising your voice is critical, especially at this juncture. Timelines are becoming sensitive. The end of the month, the maps need to be ready and reviewed. Making your plea for whatever it is that you think is the priority now is critical. Don't lose your opportunity to make a difference.
And this opportunity doesn't come up every day. This is
something every 10 years.
Yeah, every 10 years. So if you speak now, forever hold your peace. That would be difficult. But really, it's a situation where. What would you suggest if I would go to University of Akron, my alma mater, by the way?
Mine too. Go Zips.
Okay. Yes. What would we say? What would you suggest I say? Just say,
What do you feel, Bruce?
I think the districts need to be fair. I think that both parties should have an equal opportunity and vying for that office. I think they should be able to have a fair chance of getting elected.
Excellent. And if there are specifics that you have concern about, I know there are a myriad of people that are very involved in things in their community that they might have something specific that affects their environment, or is relative to the condition of some building or road in their community. You can bring up your specifics as well, and this is what's important to me, so they know your priority.
So, certainly Medina County isn't that far from Lake Erie.
No.
We could suggest that we continue to have Lake Erie, and I listen to NPR occasionally, and people are going down the Cuyahoga River and kayaking and rafting. We couldn't do that years ago, so we're making strides, but we need to continue with those approaches.
And you raise a really good point. I had spoken with a person that was with the park system, and one of the things he referenced was watersheds. Never entered my awareness, didn't even think about that. But he was talking about how the watershed, how Medina County's watershed flows into Portage Lakes. That's an important consideration when you're thinking about where you're drawing the lines. And to have an awareness of whomever would be serving legislatively that would be covering that district. They need to know that information, because there could always be a risk of contamination. So the things that people know that the legislators may not know are imperative to be shared. And I really encourage everybody to raise their voice and share their knowledge to make a difference in the quality of their own community.
Cuyahoga Valley National Park, not that far away. We could continue to say we need funding for that, and maybe even expand it and keep that pristine and a place to go ahead and visit, not that far away.
Well said.
Okay, what else? What would you tell, again, our citizens in Medina County, how critical this is, and we just can't sit on the sidelines?
That's exactly right. We can't sit on the sidelines. And the first thing I would say is, please contact your legislators. Go directly to them. Handwritten letters are rare. And so if you send a handwritten letter, that may have a little additional punch. Talk about what's important to you in your community. Be specific on what you want. One thing I'm encouraging everyone to say is a 10-year map. I believe that our legislators can work together. I believe that they have the will to do it, and I believe that if enough of us keep rapping on their door or calling them or writing them and telling them this same message, they will produce a 10-year map. I can't encourage people to do that enough. Tell your neighbors about it so that other people can become involved. Direct people to the Fair District's website. There is so much excellent information. It's easy to digest, and it has specific directives there as well. But also write everybody on the commission. All the names that we shared are also on Fair District's website as well. So we want to be sure that people know who is on the commission and that they reach out to them and let them know what they expect, let them know that you anticipate that they will deliver and that we will have a 10-year map, and they'll, as a friend of mine's husband wrote on the back of his postcards, he got the postcards and sent them in, and he wrote, "Get her done." And that's what we want. We want everybody to do your job.
No question about it. Well, the time has flown, and we are about to the end of the show, and I thank you very much for joining us. And certainly it's something that we do need to go ahead and follow through with, as you indicated, and all ages. Our high schoolers, we'll try to go ahead and let the principals know in the county what is happening and how they can get involved, in our students, senior citizens, and all people in Medina County.
Well said.
Thank you very much for joining us. This was Bruce on the Loose, and we will be here to see you next week with another guest.
Thanks so much.
You are watching WCTV, Wadsworth Community Television.